Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. We are rounding down now. We're coming to the end of the transfer window. On Tuesday, it shuts. 11 p.m. That is it. Transfer business over as far as the summer is concerned. And that's your team till January, as I always say. And who else are Arsenal going to bring in? I must admit, I was a bit jealous yesterday of Man United when they pulled off that coup of getting Cristiano Ronaldo. You had to say, you had to just begrudgingly sort of sit back and say, you know what, that was a great piece of business. And their fans are like super excited for their games right now. If you're a Man United fan, you're buzzing for the next game. You're buzzing to see Ronaldo's debut. You've got Varane. They've made a lot of exciting signings. Whereas with us, it's more been down that sort of sensible route of buying players that we really needed. No mega names, but trying to buy players that are going to build us for the future. Because one of the problems we've had at Arsenal is trying to attract players, big players, with no European football. Not even Europa League we've got this year. But we've done business. We've done quite a lot of business. May not be exciting like Cristiano Ronaldo, but we've done a lot of business. But who else are we going to bring in before the end of this window? And I thought I'd have a look at some of the players that I think are doable. I'm not looking at unreasonable, but doable. 5 players that I think Arsenal could bring in before the end of this transfer window. Now, one of the areas where we definitely have a problem is at right back. Got Cedric. I don't know. The jury's still out. Hasn't really lit it up since he's joined. Hector Bellerin looks set to leave before the end of the window, even though he's finding it very difficult at the moment to find someone to take him, but he could be going. And Callum Chambers, not really a right back, more of a centre back, playing as a right back. Not really the answer. We need a specialist right back. I think it's one of the priority areas that we need to fill right now. So what about going in for Max Aarons? We've been linked with him forever. Very talented player, 21 still. He fits that age profile of what we've been doing all summer. Plays for Norwich at the moment, valued at around about 25 million. And he is a really, really good and talented right back. He's played in the Premier League before. He's gone down to the Championship. He's done a season there. He's done really, really well. And he's one of those players that are going to be sort of knocking on the door for England in the future. He's a very, very talented player. To get him away from Norwich would mean really a really aggressive push by Arsenal. They'd have to lay the money down on the table and say, listen, we want this kid. Here's the money. And that's the only way we're going to get him away from Norwich, because he is a big, big player for them. But as we've seen with the Cristiano Ronaldo deal, if you move aggressively, if you do things right, you can get your man. Listen, a club like Arsenal should be able to get Max Aarons away from Norwich City. Not easy, but we should be able to do it. And for me, that's the sort of deal we should be trying to do before the end of the window. Will we do it? We'll have to wait and see. Another right back, and this is the second player that I feel we could bring in if we, really go for it, is Kieran Trippier. Maybe not everybody's cup of tea because of his Tottenham connections, but listen, there's no denying quality right back again. I think he can play over on the left-hand side as well if need be. In that sort of system that Mikel Arteta likes to play, he would suit it perfectly. He has that sort of wing back, getting up and down, doing his defensive duties, but also getting forward. A good crosser of the ball as well. Can do set pieces as well. Listen, he would be ideal. Very experienced player. Now, it would be difficult to get him away from Atletico Madrid. You see the value there saying 25 million. They were saying the other day at Atletico Madrid, they want about 34 million. He's also been linked with a move to Man United. But, now that they've, bought in Cristiano Ronaldo and they're going to be spending, nearly £500,000 a week on his wages, very much doubtful that they'll probably bring in Trippier. That's probably not going to happen now. So it's opened up if we want to get it done. We know, as I said, Atletico talking about £34 million. I very much doubt, even though they're saying that would be the fee, but probably, I don't know, 25 to 30. He's 31 now. That's the only doubt. Personally, I'd rather go for Max Aarons as a long term, but the right back area is a problem. So we need a right back. So one of the two. So that's another player that we could move for before the end of this window. Now, this next guy, Basuma, we've been interested in him since the start of the window. A lot of fans thought that when we went to Brighton, that's who we were going to get. Yves Basuma. For me, one of the best defensive midfielders in the Premier League. He's been linked with Liverpool. He's been linked with us all summer. Now, you may look on it and say to yourself, well, we don't really need this guy no more. We've brought in Sambi Lokonga, who I really like the look at. I think he's going to be a quality player. We've decided to keep Granit Xhaka. And you know what? You're probably right. You're probably right. We're probably not going to move in for him. You know what I mean? Valuation on him ran about, they want about £40 million. But for me, I would still go and get him. You know what I mean? I would still go and get him. For me, Xhaka would be the backup. Because for me, if you've got Basuma and Thomas Partey in that midfield, we won't see what I saw last week when we were playing against Chelsea, where it was just so easy to get through our midfield. We need to strengthen the spine of that midfield. As I said, it's probably unlikely now that we've given Xhaka this long-term contract. Sambi Lokonga, I'm happy with, but I would still go for him. I would still go for him. It's about having a very strong squad. And although it would probably cost, we were being quoted around about 40 million, maybe, if it's near to the window, it may be a little less. But if I was Arsenal, I'd still be looking to go in and get a player of this quality. You need quality players in your squad. Did Manchester United hesitate in getting Cristiano Ronaldo, even though they've got Rashford, Greenwood, Martial, Cavani? Did they? No. Quality became available just like that, and they made their move. And we need to do the same thing. This is an area. It may not be your glamorous Cristiano Ronaldo signing, but for me, it would be like that for us, because that's something that we've needed. Solidity in that midfield for a very, very long time. So Basuma, that's my third choice of a player that we could get before the window closes. What about this guy, Marco Ascencio? Now, we don't necessarily need Marco Ascencio at the moment, I guess, because you could look on it and say, we've got quite a few players who can play out wide. We've got Pepe, we've got Saka, we've got Smith Rowe, who can also play out on out wide as well. But if this guy becomes available, he's a quality player. And if players like Reece Nelson are going out on loan, etc., bringing in additional quality, there's no harm in that. Now, he may be available. The Real Madrid has sort of been putting it out there that they would be up for selling Marco Ascencio. He's a quality player. And especially if Real Madrid move and get Kylian Mbappe, which is looking more and more likely as the days go on, that they're trying to get Mbappe on. You've seen already the fees that they're throwing up for that, 140 million and stuff like that. We already know that, the Spanish clubs, they're in a bit of financial trouble. They've got FFP trouble. They will be willing to sell Marco Ascencio. Now, for me, again, you're adding quality to your midfield. You're adding goals to the midfield. And he is a top quality player. And if he becomes available before the end of the window, for me, again, you're adding quality to the squad. And as I said, if, look at it like this, there's going to be players leaving that have been playing in that area. Willian's leaving. As I said, Reece Nelson may be leaving. So again, it's not like you're just bloating up your squad. There is a space for a player like Asensio, and having quality throughout this team is essential. Ainsley Maitland-Niles is probably going to be another one that's going to be leaving. There's been lots of links with him today, linking him with a move to Everton. So it's freeing up space in that midfield. So maybe, you could bring in an Asensio, and he would be quite an exciting signing for me. So that's another one. Number 4. Here's my 5th one. We've been harping on about him all summer. Houssem Aouar. The valuation there says 35 to 40 million pounds. We sort of done this at the start of the window. Since then, that fee has come right down. 17 million pounds has been the latest one they've been talking about. Loan move even. Leon is said to be willing to do. As I said on yesterday's show, look at the midfield. Lots of players have moved out of that midfield now. There's no more Torreira, Guendouzi, Ceballos, Willock. Even Miguel Aziz has gone out on loan, or is going out on loan to Portsmouth. So even that's a player who could have been promoted up into that position who's going out on loan. If El Neni leaves, that leaves even more space. For me, I'd be looking to move El Neni on before the end of the transfer window. You know, there's Fenerbahce, Besiktas, these teams interested in him. And I would be saying, get in Hossim Aouar in that area. Again, for me, it's about adding quality players to this squad. He fits the profile, still only 22, and it's adding quality. And that's what we need. We don't need no little filler players, and we don't need no Willians or people. We want quality young players fighting for positions in the team. I like what Aaron Ramsdale said the other day, that he goes, I'm here to fight for that #1 position with Leno. That's now going to put Leno on his toes. Leno knows that he's got to put in performances week after week. It will be the same if you bring in a Hossim Aouar. That keeps everyone on their toes. Smith Rowe's on his toes, all the guards on his toes. Saka, everybody. They're all battling it out for that spot. And Hossim Aouar brings quality to the team. And it's a long season. And even though we don't have any European football, it's a long season. And you need as much quality as you can get. And when I think about that midfield area as well, and I was thinking about this the other day, and this goes back to even the Ascencio thing and that as well, come the winter, I'm not sure yet what's going to happen because of all the travel restrictions, red lists and that, which, you know, but remember, we've got the African Cup of Nations. So somebody like a Thomas Partey could be gone for a month. And even when he comes back after that month, if Ghana's on the red list, I'm not sure, could have to do, 10 days quarantine in a hotel before he can even come back into the team. So we could be missing a player like, Thomas Partey. El Neni, if he stays, that's another one we'd be missing in the midfield, right? Pepe, we'd be missing. So we need these additional players in the squad. So that's why, another reason why players like Hossim Aouar, possibly Ascencio, as I just said, it makes sense. It makes sense to have these type of players available in the midfield. Basuma, even though he could be away as well, to be fair. So listen, we need a good squad and we need a quality squad if we are to get back. I think the first step we've got to try and take is to try and get back into that top 4. And to do that, we need a quality squad. It's going to be difficult. Look at the teams there. Look at City. Look at what Man United have done. Look at what Chelsea have done, and Liverpool are Liverpool. That's what we got to overcome, as well as teams like Leicester, Tottenham, who've kept hold of Harry Kane. We need a strong squad if we are to get anywhere near fighting for that top 4 spot. So those are 5 players that I think we could sign before the window closes. You know what I want you guys to do? I want you to suggest to me another 5 that I haven't even mentioned. And they've got to be realistic, yeah? I know you could have said Lautaro Martinez and all these people, but they're not going. I don't think he's leaving. He's staying. That's why I didn't put him on the list. You can give me 5. Let me know in the comments. You cannot use the 5 that I've given you already. I need another 5, and I'm gonna go through that and choose the best 5 as well, and probably talk about those on tomorrow's show. Listen, thanks for watching the show today. Don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV. Keep it locked on deadline day. We're going to be all over anything to do with Arsenal transfers. We're going to have a special News Daily show in the evening where we're going to be dedicating that completely to transfers, and we're going to be broadcasting that for a few hours. Anything that breaks, any news that comes out, is going to be here. We will be bringing you updated to everything as soon as it happens. We will be on it. We're going to be down at the ground. We're going to be in the studio. So make sure you keep it locked here on AFTV. Thanks for watching the show, and I'll see you tomorrow.